It's 5:30 in the morning, and I have not even slept. Oh, but hi, there's stuff to talk about regarding Halo Infinite. How's it going, everybody? Chris Raygon here, coming at you with a bunch of... I said Chris Raygon. I said Chris Raygon. I didn't even say my real name. What I meant to say was Raycon is sponsoring today's video. Oh my god. Now, what do the Raycon Everyday E25s and my mental state have in common? Nothing, because these are actually great. Top-tier earbuds at half the price of other brands. You can't beat that, can you? Not only that, but Raycons come in a variety of fun colors and patterns, account for various fit options, and they give you at least 6 hours of playtime. You can even charge them in this neat little portable carrying case, so it's pretty sweet. These babies, guys, high quality sound. I'm rapidly approaching my 30s, and my therapist is coming in through my Zoom call cleaner than ever on these things.
Well, I think you're too self-aware for your own good. You can't live in the moment. You're gonna need to tone that down.
Ah, mortality. Don't like it. Sounds good, though. Now, you might be saying, Chris, stop having an existential crisis and tell me where I can get my hands on these beautiful earbuds. Sure thing, my guy, don't worry. Simply click the link in the description below or go to buyraycon.com/Raygun and cop yourself some top-of-the-line Raycon earbuds at a 15% discount. Not to mention, shows your support for the channel as well, just mentioning. And if for whatever reason you are an insatiable beast, don't worry, because they got a 45-day free return policy. So what are you waiting for, idiot? Go to buyraycon.com/Raygun right now, or I'll beat you up or something. Can I threaten you in this ad? They didn't say I couldn't threaten you, so I'm gonna threaten you. I'll find you. Anyway, now we're gonna go back to the main program. Hopefully I don't experience a horrifying Windows Movie Maker tier transition. Otherwise, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. I don't know. Okay, I'm getting thin. Oh, it's hard to breathe. Wow, what an uncomfortable transition that was. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally saw it. Halo Infinite multiplayer exists. And today, I'm going to be breaking every bit of it down. What I loved, what I didn't, and just about everything in between. Full disclosure, this is pretty much the only game I give this much of a shit about, so if you're new here, don't come here expecting, the latest Starfield analysis, alright? I'm a Halo boy, and this is a Halo household. E3 2021 has come and gone, which means we have officially seen Halo Infinite for 4 years in a row now. This is by far and away the longest development cycle Halo has ever had, and this is the first time this year in 2021 that we've seen multiplayer in any capacity. They showed more than just multiplayer though, so before we get into the main meat of the discussion, let's talk about some of the stuff that's not multiplayer that they also showed. They started the presentation by having Joseph Staten introduce the game, which probably didn't mean much to most people, but I actually think is a pretty ideal way to start. Joe Staten was a pretty pivotal presence at Bungie during the original trilogy's development. The dude's in like every single developer commentary, every single Vidoc from those years has his face all over it. He led Halo 3 ODST, he voiced the grunts throughout the series.
Can you do the grunt voice though, real quick?
Do the grunt voice for you? Sure, I'd love to do the grunt voice if you did.
He's a familiar face, and certainly somebody that I was, happy to see.
I don't want to play a game that makes me cry necessarily. I want to make a game that makes me go, yeah, didn't you see what I just did to that guy when he came around the rock? Oh my God, it was so good. I mean, games, there's so many other emotions that they're better equipped to satisfy, to draw out. And, at Bungie, I think we don't worry about making people cry. Why we worry about that goal? Why don't we make people laugh or cheer?
Now, is this just corporate manipulation of fan nostalgia? Yeah, probably. But it was still nice to see Staten introducing Halo on stage at E3 like he did so many years before.
And hey, everybody. For us, and I hope many of you, Halo has always been about heroism and wonder.
It is, Joe. It is. We then see some sweeping footage of the same biome we saw featured in last year's gameplay reveal, only this time the level of detail is actually good, and there's no painfully awkward pop-in in the distance. I'll be real though, I thought the game looked alright last year. It definitely needed some draw distance tweaks and better lighting, but I thought it looked like a game that wasn't finished, which is, what E3 is about anyway. I don't have much to say about this, other than I think it looks pretty damn good, and I'm not really concerned about the visuals at all. One small thing that concerns me is, I hope we do end up seeing more than just this, Pacific Northwest forest style environment throughout the game. Halo isn't just about the woods, it's also about, sweeping tundras and lush jungles and ancient deserts. We really have no idea how this game is going to function in an open world capacity, at least, from start to finish. We don't know if there will be multiple open world biomes, or if this forest is, the hub world with different missions taking you to vastly different sections of the ring in a more linear style. Maybe it's an act-oriented open world structure like the tundra and desert sections of Gears of War 5. Oh, I'm sorry, Gears 5? You really had to drop the of war? What is that? Don't do that, it's gross, I don't like it. We have no idea, but, I'm hoping for more than just a walk in the woods. We then transition over to some campaign footage, no gameplay though. Instead, we get a cutscene of Master Chief maneuvering through zero-gravity space, using the last mag in his pistol to detonate a fusion coil, bursting the hull of the ship wide open, using Dead Covenant to redirect his momentum, scavenging for ammo, and, everything from the tone to the music to the dialogue of this entire section, it's just so fucking Halo, I can't believe it. It reminds me a lot of the Halo 4 announcement trailer back in 2011, and I honestly don't think that's an accident.
You have one bullet against an entire army. What can you do on your own?
I told you. It's enough.
You see that right there? That's Master Chief there. Stoic, calm, collected. I got everything handled, son. I'm Sierra 117, dog. Don't even trip. When Master Chief says something, it's supposed to be, direct and memorable, and, in Halo 4 and 5, he just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Every word he said was, totally unnecessary, and it robbed every line of his of any impact that it otherwise could have had. Every line of dialogue I've seen so far, though, from Chief in Halo Infinite has been fucking perfect and totally in line with how this character is supposed to be. It feels like the same character from the old games without being just a carbon copy of the old script.
We need to run.
No, we need to fight.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon.
But this wasn't the mission.
The missions change. They always do.
Got an escape plan?
Thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix things up a little.
I told you. It's enough.
What if you miss?
I won't.
He's a living symbol. He expresses himself through actions more than he does with words. He tosses the aliens aside like garbage, but respectfully sets the Marine aside, and even makes a point not to disturb this Marine when he takes his weapon. It's almost like he's thinking, listen, man, I'm sorry, but I'll make this count. There's an old Halo 3 ad from, I don't know if it was an official Xbox magazine or a Game Informer or something, but it's an ad that's really stuck with me as far as something that's very, encapsulatory, I hope that's a word, if not it is today, of, the characterization of the Master Chief. It shows him wandering through the city of Voy, and the text says, "A hero need not speak. When he is gone, the world will speak for him." That image is so quintessentially Halo to me that, I don't know, it's just nice to see this vibe actually brought to fruition in a 343 Halo game. I feel like it's really capturing this feeling, which is something that 343's struggled with. 4 and 5 just didn't feel like Halo. They were good games. I think 5 is actually a great game. I've been over this several times, but it just didn't have that feeling. But so far, this game feels like the old shit while still being super, super new. I won't get into the story implications of this new Cortana character because, to be honest, I'm a bit annoyed that we saw this at all. I would have loved to experience this moment, I don't know, for the first time in-game or something. I feel like I've seen almost too much of the story. One thing I will say is that I'm enjoying the presentation of this single player quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to this campaign far more than I ever thought I would have, especially after, the mess that was Halo 5's story. They're setting up a lot of interesting questions, and the tone just seems fucking right on the money. And this music sting, beautiful. But let's toss all this nerdy lore shit to the side for a second and get to the reason why your soggy ass is sitting in this chair watching me right now. Multiplayer. You want multiplayer? I got you covered, boy. Or girl. Or in between. It's hard to keep up. Bear with me. I'm straight and almost 30. Okay, so the very first shot of the trailer, we see a Spartan sliding. So let's address the elephant in the room right now. I don't like enhanced mobility. You all know this. I'm not a fan of sprint. I don't like sliding. I don't like clambering. Not because I don't think they have their place in other modern first-person shooters, but because I think their presence weakens Halo's core combat to a degree that I'm just not super comfortable with. But we'll come back to that point at the end because there's a lot of promising shit here, and I don't want to start too negative. First things first, we got a huge emphasis on vehicle combat and big team battle in this trailer, which is great because that's something that Halo 5 completely ignored. Halo 5 didn't even launch with big team battle, and when it got it, all the maps were community-made Forge maps because I don't know, they wasted all their development time making big maps for Warzone. You know, that game mode that was fun for approximately 3.5 months after launch. So right off the bat, good to see a return to form for big team battle with some new twists, with some, weapons dropping out of the sky a la Halo 2, vehicles being delivered. I'm a little iffy on that, but overall I think it's cool to shake up the big team battle formula. At least it's here again. Vehicle combat is a massive part of Halo, so it's ideal that it comes back in a big way, considering how absent they were from, Halo 4 and Halo 5's core combat arena. Some people are bummed that the player count has only been expanded to 24 players, but personally, I didn't even need a boost to player counts. I would have been happy with 16 again. I think it's a pretty magic number. I almost worry that 24 might be too many for how Halo's combat works, but, it's interesting. It's cool to have the option to play with that many people. I'm excited to see how that shakes out and, how big these maps can actually get, given, there's grappling hooks and vehicles, and I'm expecting some pretty big maps, if that's the case. Side note that wasn't super illustrated in the trailer, but 4v4 maps are confirmed to have vehicles again, which is, the first time in 10 years that we've had that, so, good shit there. My beautiful baby boy, the Brute Chopper, is back as well, which is something I've been waiting for a very long time now. Just one of the many things that makes this feel like a true sequel to Halo 3. Finally, good lord. This vehicle was so wonky, man. I loved it. God damn, look at this armor, dude. It looks perfect. Seeing Halo look like Halo again is genuinely mind-blowing. There was a time where I really thought that this would never happen. Like, I thought we were stuck with this ugly shit for forever. How do you even go from this disastrous, ugly shit to this immaculate nectar of gods? It really is amazing what a good art style can do for a game just by itself. I mean, even when I think back to the Xbox Showcase, Replaced was a big standout for that presentation, and it was purely due to how stylized and gorgeous it looked. Never underestimate good visual design. It's got a ton of impact. I would argue it's your first impression on everyone, so it's nice to see Halo looking fucking beautiful again. We see our first piece of equipment in the form of this threat sensor wall hack thing. Not the most creative thing, but on-map equipment is always a good thing in my book. One concern I have is I worry about the equipment being too user-focused and not neutral enough. Like, the regeneration field in Halo 3 could heal both you and your enemies if they decided to step into it. The bubble shield could protect you, but, sometimes somebody could steal it from you. The trip mine, the power drainer, it affected kind of everybody equally, whereas, stuff like this threat sensor seems to only benefit either the player or the player's team. Not too worried, though, because they confirmed that they'll be adding new pieces of equipment as the seasons roll on, so I'm sure we're going to get some pretty cool neutral game equipment later down the line for free, basically, I would imagine. I'm just happy equipment is back, dude. I've been wanting equipment back since 2007, so, like, this is, again, it just feels like, I said this on Twitter, and a lot of people just didn't understand what I was saying, but this feels like the first proper follow-up to Halo 3, dude. Like, every Halo since Reach was a sequel to Reach in some way. Halo 4 had armor abilities again. Halo 5 took armor abilities and made them intrinsic to the player, and now we're finally getting just proper on-map pickups, classic arena shooter shit. I love it. Grapple hook, baby! God damn, I love it. The flow of combat looks so fucking fun, dude. Now, this next clip I think is actually super interesting because I feel like it's going to illustrate exactly why I'm both excited for Halo Infinite's gameplay possibilities and somewhat concerned. Again, only somewhat. Don't attack me. I'm still very happy. So this weapon looks pretty cool, right? The reticle flips horizontally to vertically. So it looks like we're going to be having some more dynamic weapons with maybe some alternate fire modes, which I think is always a cool thing. You know, a versatile sandbox is a healthy sandbox. I do worry, though, about how much of that dynamism is channeled in just different ways to deal damage versus the utility dynamism found in weapons like the Halo 3 Brute Shot, which can be used to, like, you know, boost your jumps, or the Halo 2 Energy Sword, which could be used as, like, a quasi-grappling hook. The Gravity Hammer, for example, I think is actually the perfect example for this trailer of what exactly I'm talking about. In the very next clip, we'll see this dude running with the Gravity Hammer, you know, the thing that sends shit flying across the map in older Halo games. In this scene, he hits a dude with the Gravity Hammer, and he just sort of falls down. It's pretty anticlimactic, especially since we see later in the trailer how wacky and fun the physics can be with things like the oddball. And this is a consistent thing with the Gravity Hammer throughout the trailer as well. It just has no gravity effect to it. It's just a brute hammer, I guess? The equipment seems to me to be, you know, where a lot of the dynamic physics gameplay styling seem to be redirected, while weapons become purely about dealing damage. The repulsor piece of equipment, for example, in this scene redirects a plasma shot right back at a guy, basically Uno reverse carding a noob combo, which is, you know, something that I think is pretty damn cool. I love that shit, especially because, you know, you fight over it on the map, you get to use it, you die with it, somebody else can take it. Perfect formula. But later in the trailer, he uses that same repulsor to basically, like, repulse off the floor to basically, like, grenade jump or rocket jump to a whole nother floor to score a crazy, you know, Gravity Hammer multi-kill. This is off to me because it feels like you should be able to do the repulsor jump thing with the Gravity Hammer, you know what I mean? It's not a huge deal. Like, ultimately, this still looks really fun. You know, ultimately, at the end of the day, this is just, like, a really minor nitpick. The fact that we're able to do physics-driven, equipment-based jumps at all is a 100% improvement from Halo 5. I just hope the weapons in the sandbox don't all amount to just damage. I hope we get some fun alternative uses for our weapons and firearms, and, you know, all the interesting stuff isn't just funneled into the equipment sandbox. We then see the Avery J. Johnson Academy of Military Science, our boy Sergeant Johnson, getting the respect he so rightfully deserves. That's a nice touch. The next thing we see is this new personal AI that can be customized to help relay information to you while you're on the battlefield. Things like when a weapon is spawning or when a vehicle is being dropped off. And it's got its own customizable appearance. It's got its own customizable voice. It helps you capture objectives. I'm not going to lie, when I first saw this, it kind of irked me a little bit. Just because, you know, hearing voice work in multiplayer that isn't Jeff Steitzer, the famous Halo announcer, just is bothersome to me.
Double kill. Triple kill. Unfrickin' believable.
It just triggers bad Halo 5 memories of hearing Commander Palmer, like, bitching in my ear constantly in Warzone for the 3 months that I bothered to play it.
Home base secure. Lockdown disabled. New objectives are online. West Armory captured. Incoming Prometheans in the caves.
Fortunately, the announcer still announces, like, double kills and flag captures and, you know, medals. So, you know, these AIs are additive and not meant to fully replace our beloved Jeff. Honestly, I think this is a great touch now that I know more about it. Halo 5 had these weird announcer packs where you could replace the announcer with, like, Nathan Fillion or some random grunt. But, like, replacing the Halo announcer feels like sacrilege. Like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to play a Halo game and not hear double kill once? Are you insane? Are you remedial, you dumbass? So it's nice that we have the option to have these customizable voices accompany us into multiplayer without, you know, sacrificing that great, you know, auditory part of the Halo experience that I think is a pretty big staple, I think.
Kilimanjaro.
But as far as AIs go, the possibilities for this are endless, but I'm gonna say what I think everybody has probably said already, which is Sergeant Johnson AI now. Please. I'd greatly appreciate it, and it's a voice I sincerely miss in Halo.
That's right. The toughest, cigar-chompingest Marine there is.
Skewer acquired.
I don't even know what to say about that clip. That clip just looks fucking fun. Like, I was just cool. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say about it? That looks cool as shit. I love how physics-driven this game seems to be. The way the skewer doesn't just destroy the Warthog, it just derails it in exactly the way you think it would based on the trajectory and momentum of the shot. It's nice to have an anti-vehicle weapon that doesn't just eviscerate vehicles. The Spartan laser is cool and fun to use, but it's not fun to fight against, you know? This looks like it's not only fun to use, but it's also fun to fight against, which is like a key pillar of Halo, so it's really nice to see that. I guess the existence of this weapon in this clip kind of totally eviscerates my concerns about, like, you know, having dynamic weapons that aren't just about dealing damage. But you know what? I'm going to keep that previous part in there, because I don't run from my mistakes. I am not Crowder. Vehicle hijacking with the grappling hook seems a bit overpowered, if I'm honest, wondering how they're going to balance that. It does look fun to do, but I could see this being armor lock level frustrating to go up against. Only time will tell, though. Maybe it's harder than it looks. It does look fun as fuck to do, though. That's without a doubt. And the rest of the trailer is just, you know, a bunch of fun sandbox moment that just genuinely look really fun. I'm super happy with this, guys. Like, I'm really, really optimistic about this. It's nice to see New Mombasa again in this map, though I'm curious if this right here is just map-specific graffiti or if this is like an Overwatch-style spray. Given the free-to-play nature of the game and how they're going to have to find some ways to monetize, I wouldn't be opposed to something like that, having cool sprays, as long as you couldn't, you know, spam them constantly and just ruin the overall aesthetic of a map. I think it could be kind of fun. This samurai armor looks gorgeous and really cool. I have nothing to say about this that's new. We get some more physics-driven gameplay with this sword launch here. You love to see it. Now, one thing that we should talk about is the Battle Pass, because I think this is actually something that's super interesting. They mentioned this in the multiplayer overview a day after their E3 press conference, and, you know, TLDW, battle passes don't expire, so there's no fear of missing out. It's not like Apex or Destiny where you pay for a battle pass and, you know, you have a set time to complete it. It just carries continuously, and if you want to buy the next battle pass, you can do that and choose to progress on that or choose to continue progressing on the previous one. I really think that this is the best possible route for a battle pass to take, objectively speaking. You can already see other communities begging for a similar style of battle pass. Destiny and Apex Legends are the one I've seen so far, but I'm sure a lot of other players of other games are going to be wanting a system like this. And, you know, it's nice to see Halo setting trends before it even releases. Customization looks really cool as well. More options than ever before, it seems. We can get, like, prosthetic limbs. We can select our body type, apparently. And the armor just looks fucking gorgeous. I don't have much to say about this because I can't tinker around with it personally. I'll obviously have more to say about it when I get my hands on it, whenever the hell that's going to be. But from what we've seen so far, the art style looks gorgeous and the armor looks gorgeous. So customization is looking like a win. So to bring this to a close, guys, I'm just really excited. You know, the campaign, from what little I've seen so far, feels like it really understands the spirit and tone of the games that set the stage for the franchise's success in the first place. The multiplayer is finally sandbox driven again. The art style is exactly what I've been wanting for the last 11 years. And with its, you know, consumer friendly battle pass and free to play nature, I think there's no way this game doesn't dominate the multiplayer conversation when it launches this holiday. I'm pretty confident this is going to be a damn good game if it's a functional experience at launch, which, you know, sad that we even have to question that, but, you know, it's the 2020s, you know, the decade following the 2010s, so unfortunately that's not a given anymore. But yeah, I'm feeling so much more optimistic than I ever thought I would, because I remember just being kind of excited for the story. You know, I want to see Master Chief again. I want to hear the music again. I want to see, you know, all these characters again, and I want to see how they're going to dig themselves out of this narrative hole that they dug themselves in with Halo 5. And I was totally happy with, you know, if the multiplayer was doing its own weird thing, just sticking with the Master Chief Collection, where all the classic Halo games are, where I could just get that classic experience completely untouched. And I'm actually excited about the multiplayer. I genuinely didn't think I would be this excited for it. It looks like it's going in the right direction design philosophy-wise. I know it's cringe to be, like, authentically happy or excited about things, but, you know. Cringe Lord Chris. And as promised, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. I've been getting comments for months now about this exact thing. Yeah, sprint, slide, clamber, they're all in the game. Thrust, ground pound, and charge seem to be gone, though. I think that's a pretty safe bet that they are. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it is still slightly disappointing to see the remnants of Halo 5 in Halo Infinite with, you know, the slower sprint and the slide and the clamber, just a part of the intrinsic abilities of every single player. But honestly, in my opinion, it seems like they're doing as much as they can to address concerns from people like me. My worry with clamber, for example, is that it, you know, devalues grenade jumping and creative movement if you could just climb literally anything that has a ledge, and, you know, that's a concerning thing for me, but they showcased repulsor jumping, so I guess we're still gonna get physics jumps in some way, shape, or form, even with clamber. Sprint seems a lot slower than it was before, and you can shoot directly out of it, so maybe it's not as big of a deal in combat as it once was. Sliding is more of a whatever thing. It's just kind of inherently tied to sprint, so I don't like it on principle. But look, this looks fucking fun. I'm excited. I think this game could be really great. I just think it could be even better if it fully embraced classic design. That's just me. No doubt people are going to find ways to clamber that break maps entirely. No doubt maps will be bigger to accommodate sprint, and that'll affect weapons and how they function, and it'll affect vehicles and how they function. These things impact the game. They just do. It's not a debate. It's an objective fact that they do. But overall, I'm very happy with what I saw. Weapons are dynamic, equipment is back, physics is back at the forefront, vehicle play is back at the forefront. Not stoked on enhanced mobility, but it seems like the core of Halo is back to what it should be, and ultimately I'm very optimistic, and I think that's where I'll leave it. Still no release date, though. That's a little concerning. You know, we are presumably a few months away from this thing, and presumably maybe a month or a few weeks away from playing a beta, optimistically speaking. Who the fuck knows? It's a little concerning that we don't have a release date. That is objectively strange, and I'm a little concerned about it. But don't want to get too negative here. Don't want to leave the video on a sour note. Thanks again for listening to my nerdy-ass ramble about a 20-year-old video game that reminds me of a time when the future was bright and the social fabric wasn't decaying and de-threading at Mach speed. I'll see you next time. I love you, be careful, be good, and behave. I'm out. And then he never made another Halo video again. Just kidding. He probably did very fucking soon afterwards.